Hey, how you guys doing? How you guys doing? Let me close the office door here. I am gonna be streaming. All cops are evil. Now, maybe some cops are not evil. Maybe some cops are the exception. But however, when I look at police departments across the country in their totality, either the police officers or deputies or law enforcement officers who are involved with those individual departments, either they are aware of the corruption or they engage in it. Because the first time when someone mentions that they are law enforcement, the first question I ask them is, who have you told on? Are you a whistleblower? That is the measure of if you are even worthy of my attention. And even then, there's some questions. So if you look at overall, police in the United States cost the American taxpayer a fortune. I've done whole deep dives explaining how it costs you more to pay for police misconduct settlements as a U.S. citizen than it does, right, for us to operate entire units at war. Seriously. And what you also find with U.S. law enforcement is that they not only cost you money with police misconduct settlements, they cost you money in terms of their equipment, for all the military gear that they actually utilize. We, as the American people, could actually take that gear and sell it and give it back to poor people to feed them, to help them with inflation, the gas prices, helping them make rent. But instead, what we do is we give bucket loads of money to police based on false pretenses. They criticize bail reform. They criticize criminal justice reform, prison reform. They criticize any reform that we bring across. In return, they try to convince us that they actually need more money, more resources, right? To boost their own numbers, to boost their own salaries. And that's what I find to be so disgusting about U.S. law enforcement, is that the solution to problems is never that they need less money. It's always more money. More money. They are the biggest welfare queens in the country. And yet for some people, that's just okay. For some people, that is acceptable. Well, not to me. To me, I think that U.S. law enforcement answers to me and you, the American people, because we pay them. We pay them and we give them authority that I don't think they should have. I don't think U.S. law enforcement should even have firearms. I wouldn't even give them a freaking popsicle stick at this point. Because quite frankly, most of them can't fight. Most of them can't defend themselves. Most of them are actually out of shape. Did you know that U.S. law enforcement is the fattest profession in the world? Not just this country, but the world. When you actually look at the actual numbers, most of these officers are not physically fit for the actual job. I have no problem with anyone who's out of shape, right? There's multiple reasons as to why you could be that. But if you saw a firefighter who was that out of shape, you would have concerns, right? You would wonder if they could actually do their job effectively. I would wonder it. So why is it that when it comes to U.S. law enforcement, we can't ask those questions? We can't wonder if they're actually fit for the job based on who they are, right? And the thing about U.S. law enforcement that is the most disgusting is that their fans are what makes them look the worst. See, it's not just that U.S. law enforcement has disgusting attitudes, that they're silly, that they lie a lot, that they falsely arrest people. That's not the only problem here. The other underlying issue that I see, for the most part, is that you have the fans. See, it's not just the fact that you have U.S. law enforcement out here lying on people, out here demanding that people get all kinds of money, all kinds of kickbacks. It's not just that, right? It's also the fact that their fans are so obnoxious. See, U.S. law enforcement, they are the Dallas Cowboys of government. Not only do they give you terrible results, not only have they not given you anything to even cheer for, their fans are so obnoxious. See, a lot of times U.S. law enforcement, they have earned the hate, right? They've definitely earned the hate. But a lot of times, what actually gets people to dislike cops are their fans. See, it's just like I said, they are the Dallas Cowboys of the government. They've given you nothing to make you a fan. Nothing. And yet, when you talk to one of their fans, they are the most delusional people you've heard of in your entire life. I can say U.S. law enforcement is costing you billions in police misconduct settlements. Right? But then, as soon as I say that, you would never hear an admission that, okay, maybe that's ridiculous. From the same people who cry and whine about welfare, from the same people who whine and cry about Social Security, from the same people who whine about Brandon is rising my taxes. And I agree, he is. I don't like that either. But if you're going to cry about one thing, be consistent or shut up. That's the rules on this channel. You want to whine about Joe Biden? I agree. But guess what? It's also going to require you to criticize everything that he praised. He said, fund the police. If you're anti-Biden, then be anti-Biden. And don't come at me for my attitude or how I say things, because that too will get you banned. I don't care for Joe Biden. I don't care for Republicans. I don't care for cops. I don't care for government, period. But another thing I don't care for is freaking partisan politics. Oh, this side is better. This side is great. Both sides don't care about bad cops. And anyone who says otherwise, I'm going to ask you to prove it. And when I say prove it, I'm going to demand evidence. Evidence. I don't care about how you try to spin things for your side. I don't care about what you say about black on black crime, which first of all is based on a bunch of nonsense. And by the way, Maz, if you see that, ban them from the chat. I don't want to hear from it. And by the way, don't comment about how I say things. I'm called ACAB Devil. This is my channel. You don't like it, you can leave. But my thing is that I can't stand it when these people go around talking about how this person is costing them all this money and that person is costing them all this money, and about how the government's raising taxes, about how there's inflation, about how there's gas prices, about how there's freaking food prices, which is all things that are definitely true. Definitely true. Without question. Without question. But my thing is that what are you going to do about that? Who are you going to criticize based on that? Excuse me, if we are being charged billions of dollars because of freaking police misconduct settlements, that could help drive down freaking inflation. If we ain't paying that, I would love to keep some money in my pocket. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? But I'm not going to tolerate occasional bootlickers. No. You're going to remove your mouth completely from the boot, or just don't associate with me. I don't care for bootlickers. It's gross, it's disgusting, and it's un-American. You are supposed to actually rebel against your government in all ways. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of the freaking guy in the freaking White House or not. You, as an American citizen, are supposed to rebel. Because that is the American spirit. That is what Americans do. You are not supposed to support a government that supports a system of white supremacy. There are still black people who are still poor. There are still black people being accosted by freaking road pirates that we call police. There are still people who are struggling to pay rent right now. There are still people out here who can't afford groceries. Homeless people, some of them veterans, some of them black veterans. And that's gross. But you want... But you won't criticize police officers so that we can actually reduce the tax burden that's been placed on the American taxpayer, and that's gross too. Anyone who supports police officers at this point and doesn't demand that we pay less for these road pirates, you are not American. You are anti-American. You hate America. Because if you love me, you would ask that I pay less money for police officers and their behavior. If you love me. If you love me. If you love America, you would tell police officers, pay for your own misconduct settlement. You would tell police unions, pay for your own misconduct settlements. You would tell police departments, pay for your own gear and equipment the exact same way that teachers do. Teachers have to actually go into their pocket, into their pocket and pay for pencils, pens, tablets, erasers, chalkboard. They gotta pay for work 2 and 3 jobs to pay for all that stuff, right? But we cannot expect police officers to pay for their own bullets. I do. Why in the world is it that I have to constantly pay for these welfare queens you call law enforcement? They need bulletproof vests. I got to pay for that. They need gas in their freaking car. I got to pay for that. They need a pension. I gotta pay for that too. Misconduct settlement. I got to pay for that too. When they mess up, when they fatally shoot someone, I pay for it. Why is it that everything that they do, I got to pay for? What if, as the American taxpayer, I say I don't agree with that? What if I say that no state-sponsored soldier, which is what cops are, race soldier, should receive a dime of my money? Right? A dime of my money. And I want you to notice, right? I want to highlight something. Mods, don't ban this guy, Jay Black, 1980, right? I want you to notice this, right? Notice how I'm talking about police officers and notice what he's doing. This guy works for the government. I want everyone to screenshot the comment. Don't report him. Screenshot the comment, right? And any kind of name that you see that's a spinoff of that, note that guy. Because I'm talking about reducing the burden, right, on taxpayers and police officers, and he's bringing up the fact that my wife is non-black. What person besides a government agent would even do that? What person besides a government agent would even do that? What person? If I'm criticizing the government, right? Right? If I'm criticizing the government, why are you focusing on that? An agent of white supremacy. Exactly. Exactly. Because a white man who dates an Asian woman or a black woman, guess what? Candace Owens' husband is also white. And let me tell you something, right? That don't stop him from engaging in white supremacy. Right? So why would me being with a non-black person stop me from being pro-black? Yeah. It's so weird. My lady wasn't even on stream. This guy knew this beforehand and showed up just for that purpose. Government agent. You think you're winning here. And I'm pointing you out because I want people to see you. I want you to get not only his name, but note everyone that he follows and everyone who follows him. I told you, the government does not like it when people like me show up. So that's why you see some of the most goofiest attacks that you can possibly even think of. My wife is black. Listen, that's great. But if your wife is actually black, my job is content creation. I went to your page and you don't have much followers. So I got a point of being there. Why don't you go with your black wife there, buddy? I'm with mine. So my thing is that People like this, they don't have any other form of attack with me. I'm so thorough. I'm so good at what I do. I just got a comment from a law enforcement officer of almost 30 years at the Miami-Dade Police Department. And this dude says that I have credibility. A current cop just said that. And yet he's focusing on the fact that my wife ain't black. Do you really think this guy does not work for the government? Really? Really? So that black officer who said that what I'm doing is actually a good thing. You think he cared about the color of my wife's skin? Or the fact that I actually talked about it? But why would you even ask that though if she was never on the stream, Jay? You know why you're here. And by the way, I don't even think that you're even black. Because first of all, for somebody who's black, you don't put out any kind of actual content. My wife's black. Okay. Then go be with your wife then. Why are you here? Like, it's so weird. You make yourself so apparent that it's not even funny. See, whenever someone out there tries to criticize police officers, you always get these goofy people who just show up. And you know why they're here. You know why they're here. They wouldn't be here if I wasn't good at what I do. You don't see him showing up at somebody's stream that has like 2 freaking watchers, or somebody's channel who only has like 1 follower. He showed up here because I'm effective, and he put that RGB stuff on his freaking profile, right? Have a good night. Okay, have a good night, Jay. Bye. But at the end of the day, do you see what I'm talking about? As soon as I start talking about police, us holding them accountable, you always get this silly stuff, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. All it did was basically make the whole chat turn on them. Because when I do the work, people aren't gonna just take your word for it, buddy. People are gonna always listen to work over opinions and narratives. See, I was thinking about deleting my channel on today until I got that comment from that police officer who decided to leave that comment. And I was encouraged by that because I wanted to give it up. I said, you know what? I can still do my work from a distance. I don't have to necessarily sit here and put myself in harm's way. But I decided to go ahead and do that. I decided to go ahead and stick around because I saw that comment. You guys can hear me? Resume live. Okay, you ever look into San Diego? Yes, I've looked into San Diego. I'm going to be covering San Diego pretty soon. Let me know if the buffering stopped. Let me know if the stream is good. I'm glad you stayed. My first time seeing you live. I think you said you meant on live. Yeah. I want to stick around because I said, you know what? I'll become a voice for black whistleblowers. Stay encouraged, motivated. You reaching and teaching to demographics you may not otherwise see. Looks good. Yeah. Listen. One of the biggest problems with exposing police officers and exposing law enforcement. It is very taxing and very dangerous. El Rico James, what's going on, brother? Alex Haven, how you doing? Puffin Fox Zen Singer, how you doing? How you doing? Davey Stun, we have moved into a new age. Voice and BS don't work like it once did. Receipts may be required. Absolutely. I'm new to your page, but grateful for you. Absolutely. Thank you very much. My thing is that I want people to understand the reason why I do what I do. So I do what I do because when I became a black whistleblower, man, I saw some of the resistance that I got. They destroyed my life. Everything. I took everything from me. And I was thinking to myself, maybe maybe it was just me. And you know, when many of us go through things, especially black folks, we tend to have this mentality where it's just maybe it was just me. And you know, when many of us go through things, especially black folks, we tend to have this mentality where it's just us. And I went through life for years thinking that, and then I started meeting others and realized that it wasn't just them. You know, and then my grandmother was still alive at that time when I first decided to start, you know, actually saying stuff. And my grandma told me, you know, she said, you have a skill set. You can make a difference, but there will come a time in which you got to choose between what makes you happy and your people. How you doing, Rosie? Tap screen, everybody, give me some likes. I appreciate that for sure. Make sure you share the screen. But she told me, Tori, how you doing, Tori? How you doing? How you doing? Long time no see. That's actually my sister-in-law. Buffering your feed on my end still. Oh, apologies. I don't know what's happening there. But I want people to see the problem with U.S. law enforcement in terms of them going after whistleblowers who are just trying to tell you the truth. You know, I had that problem. They destroyed my life. I lost everything. And I wanted to expose law enforcement because of what happened to me as a kid. I tried to tell some Richland County Sheriff's deputies what happened to me with my older brother. And they didn't do anything about it. And so I grew up and I became a law enforcement officer to try to change things. You know, I wanted to be the change that I want to be the change that I want to actually see. Hello, Quincy. Quincy is my brother, my other brother. I have two brothers. The oldest one is the bad one. The middle one's the good one. So Quincy is the good one. That's why he supports me. But I appreciate too. I appreciate you too, Miss Robin. And we do need federal whistleblower protections. And absolutely. So I went into law enforcement to try to change things, and I failed. And I took that personally because I'm a perfectionist. You know, if you see the way I edit, like some of my animated videos, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. And when I failed, I took it personally, and I internalized that. So I was out for freaking like vengeance. I was out for vengeance. I became the ACAB devil. I became police officers' worst nightmare because I have a very unique skill set in which if police officers want to do a no-knock raid on me, go ahead, but pick one of the guys to your left or to your right. They ain't coming back with you. I'm too well trained for that. Spent a good little time in combat, rated at freaking 100%. I'm good for at least one of them. Guarantee you that. Bet money on that one. So, and my other skill set was that I trained in information technologies with the U.S. military at Fort Gordon in Georgia. So I have a very, very unique skill set where I can eavesdrop on police officers. And I can also, if they want to get rowdy, I can get rowdy too. I like bacon. So it doesn't matter how they try to attack me. You see already the freaking government trolls who just show up here with all the goofy criticism, right? Stuff that even if my spouse is not black, how does that affect my content? How's that affect my content? Does it make anything that I say untrue? No. If I were a gay man, if I were transgender, if my wife were a freaking, I don't know, a freaking cactus, would it make what I say on the air? If I were a gay man, if I were transgender, if my wife were a freaking, I don't know, a freaking cactus, would it make what I say on the everyday basis untrue? Of course not. Which lets you know it was the government who showed up here. So, the thing about people coming at me all the time, it does get irritating. It does get taxing. But what these people don't realize is that I'm built for this. And I'm here to stay. And that I'm going to keep putting out content because I want to hold cops accountable. I want them to stop shooting people. I want them to stop doing things to children and women and getting away with it. I want bad sheriffs and bad police chiefs to be brought to trial and thrown behind bars. Lil Debbie Cornbread, you have more than 1,000 followers. You can hop into the guest request. Please hop in. If not, let's not be a keyboard warrior. Because you tell me that I'm wrong for police bashing. You don't even know my backstory. You don't even know why I say it. There is a video. If you are on mobile, there's a video on my channel. It's pinned, and it's in the thumbnail itself. It's kind of blue, and it says this is the most important police corruption story that you've never heard of. It involves the sheriff of the year for the entire country. I have beef because of that. That's what it is. And if you understand, well, Debbie, no, I'm at work. No, Debbie, no, because it's 6 p.m. where I'm at. And if you're on the East Coast, it's 9 p.m. Debbie, stop that. No, you're just being a keyboard warrior. You're not going to sit here and just say stuff and just run. No, Debbie, bye. Right. So my thing is that I want people to understand there's a reason why I do what I do, and there's a reason why others want me to do what I do. I've already taken the lumps and the bruises and all the freaking damage. I do it so that they don't have to. I do it so that black law enforcement officers can continue to try to bring change from the inside. Meanwhile, I'm going to take all the damage that they can't take without losing their job. Many of the people who are my help, who come out and tell me things that happen at the departments, they're black. Believe it or not, some of my biggest fans who don't say it, because I tell them it'd be a good idea if you don't post, you being a police chief. Some of them are black. Some of my biggest fans are actually cops. Because a lot of people don't realize that even cops realize how corrupt law enforcement is in this country. I just want people to not be afraid of the people that you pay with your money. I just want people to live peacefully in the country that you're paying for. I want to take the damage that others don't want to take. Cops ain't gonna come for me because they realize I'm too well trained. Only 19% of cops are actually veterans. Even less are actually combat veterans. You're not gonna take me on and just walk away unscathed. No. You're not gonna just hide things from me because, again, I was a 25 Bravo. The U.S. military trained me to spy on people. You can't hide anything from me, police. That's why I'm able to find things that I can actually find. Because I'm gonna give you a prime example. So I came to Washington State, right? And I was asked to look into law enforcement, into one cop. So what I did was I wanted to prove my worth. I found the first, middle, and last name of all law enforcement in this state as of February of this year. Even the freaking phone numbers. Found the whole state roster. Even the vehicle roster. For the whole state. For the whole state. And I spread it around. And I all of a sudden, vehicle roster. For the whole state. For the whole state. And I spread it around. And now all of a sudden, that was years ago. Now that was almost a year ago now, because we're coming up on December. I did that in like February. I intercepted that when they posted it for some reason. Now I published that whole entire list. Now, what happened with that situation is that ever since I came to Washington State, you've been noticing some of the Supreme Court rulings, and people have told me that coincides with my actual arrival in Washington State. That I put so much pressure on the law enforcement here to the point where I force change. If you don't believe that, you can ask Pierce County Sheriff's Department, Tacoma Police. You can ask all of them. You can ask Seattle PD. I had a personal conversation with Adrian Diaz. So it is what it is. Anyways, guys, until next time, horns up, peace out. People gonna be porting. It is what it is, man. People just do what they do. I'm gonna go ahead and roll out. Start another stream later. You guys be safe. Thank you, El Rico, and everybody who showed up. Beard of Truth. Be safe, guys. Horns up, peace out. Good night. Good luck.